Straight ahead on CCX News, remembering 9/11, how a local school is keeping the memory of victims alive. Plus, we'll take you inside a school where English is a second language to most students, how it changed the way the teachers teach. But first, a dialogue on diversity, what diversity means to others, and how local cities are changing because of it. CCX News starts right now. Often it's tough to have an open and honest conversation on race and ethnic identity. What's okay to talk about and what's considered rude. Hello everyone, I'm Shannon Slatton. Today we're hoping to begin talking about some of those tough topics in a series called A Dialogue on Diversity. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the number of non-whites is growing in the Northwest Metro. For instance, in Crystal, the African American population increased nearly 4 percentage points in 2016 compared to 2010. Meanwhile, in Maple Grove, the Asian population has seen an increase when you compare 2010 to 2016. Reporter Sonia Goins shows us how a shift in demographics is changing diversity in the Northwest suburbs.
So what exactly is diversity? For the purpose of this story, we're focusing on race and ethnicity.
I think it just means a lot of different people from different walks of life.
We found the definition of diversity depends on who you ask.
Diversity means having an environment where different people, whether of color or age or any kind of different background, get together.
There you go, look at that.
The answers varied from city to city.
I think ideas, core values, first principles, those are the things that really matter when it comes to diversity.
Diversity to me means a lot of different cultures, different ethnicities and backgrounds all coming together.
It's not about skin, it's about the mind. If the mind's not diverse, we can't be diverse.
Older adults offered up different answers too.
People of color mostly, that kind of thing. My neighbor's black.
You're surrounded by it. You can't get away from it.
No matter the definition, there's no denying it. The Northwest suburbs are becoming more diverse, and you don't have to look around too hard to find it. From the African International Market in Brooklyn Park,
a cassava leaf is perfectly seasoned,
to Hmong dancers in Brooklyn Center. The landscape is changing. Drive down Brooklyn Boulevard in Brooklyn Park, and it looks like a mini United Nations.
When I'm visiting my grandparents in Wisconsin, it's a lot more white people or Caucasian people. So it's always great coming back home and seeing all this great diversity here in this area.
But there can be a dark side when there's a lack of diversity. Some people try to assimilate by changing or hiding their identity to fit in with the majority population.
I did try at one point to bleach my skin, if that makes sense, just so I could walk around without getting stares. And then I got older and I just figured, hey, it's my skin, love me or not.
Hate crimes have increased nationwide with demographic changes, especially populations with increased minority groups. The Northwest Metro is not immune to the disturbing trend. A racial slur used to reference black people was recently put on a sign that not only negatively impacted a Brooklyn Center restaurant, but the community too.
It is a horrible thing. It's a horrendous display of racism, I believe, in our city. Doesn't reflect where our city stands on diversity of cultures or ethnicity.
Some people like to say that we're all the same and race and ethnicity doesn't matter.
You know, we're not the same, but I think that that is a good thing. I think that some people feel very hesitant about the fact that we're not the same.
Duchess Harris is a professor of American Studies at Macalester College in St. Paul.
I think many Americans still think that our national identity is one that is of white people or Caucasians.
Harris is also an author, writing about race and culture in America. She's most known for the book she wrote about her grandmother called Hidden Human Computers, The Black Women of NASA.
For people who've seen the Hidden Figures movie, she actually was there 20 years before that movie took place, and she worked with all those women.
Professor Harris says it's important to talk about race and celebrate our differences.
I think that if you meet people where they are and get to know them and learn about the differences and respect the differences, then we're able to get along much better.
And most people agree, if we all looked the same and came from the same place, this world would be a pretty dull place.
You're gonna be like living in a box if you only are around certain type of people that are just like you.
It's healthy to be around different races and backgrounds. You can learn from each other.
Melanin of skin, height, eye color, hair length, whatever it is really less important than diversity of ideas and experiences.
Professor Harris says talking about diversity also helps to remove fear. She says once people get to know each other, they can move forward and hopefully learn something new. She also encourages folks to celebrate our rich history and explore new communities. Meanwhile, coming up on Wednesday, we'll show you how Brooklyn Park officials are trying to foster an environment where diversity and inclusion are the norm. Shannon?
Thank you, Sonia. Meanwhile, flags across the viewing area are at half-staff today. It's one way local communities are remembering the victims on this 17th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. And following its tradition, Providence Academy in Plymouth went a step further. Students at the school set out hundreds of flags lining the entrance road and walkways. It's a memorial they've been doing for years and one that local law enforcement and fire departments say makes them feel appreciated. And even though most of the students are too young to directly remember the attacks 17 years ago, they tell us keeping the memory alive is why they keep setting out the memorial every year. The New Hope City Council has a new member. Cedric Frazier took the oath of office Monday evening. He was appointed to fill the seat vacated by Eric Lamley, who moved outside of the city. Frazier is an attorney and he served on the New Hope Planning Commission. He spoke with CCX News about his reason for serving.
What we're seeing here, and one of our city council members talked about it, we're seeing a shift in the demographics in the city of New Hope. So I think it's important to make sure that we are an inclusive and engaging community and make sure that everyone knows that they're welcome down here at City Hall.
Frazier was selected out of a pool of 12 candidates. His term will run through the end of 2020. The Brooklyn Park City Council has approved expanding annual archery deer hunts to include Greenhaven Park. That neighborhood just east of Hennepin Technical College has raised concerns about too many deer. Last year, the controlled hunts around the city did not go well due to bad weather. City officials say the hunts help reduce the number of car-deer accidents. Still ahead, we spotlight a Brooklyn Park charter school that brings awareness to Russian culture. Plus, a local girls swimming and diving team is under a head coach with high hopes for a repeat conference title. That's later in sports. But first, shades of August. This week is heating up with temperatures in the 80s. Culture is a very important part of our identity. Today we kick off our school spotlight coverage by taking you to a charter school in Brooklyn Park. It's where post-Soviet culture is embraced in everyday learning. Here's Meredith Hackler.
With 120 students, Nasha Shkola Charter School has the unique advantage of small class sizes, but that's not the only characteristic that sets them apart.
About 90% of the kids we have come from either families where Russian is spoken by both parents or at least one parent.
All the classes are taught in English. However, students have the option to learn the Russian language from kindergarten to 8th grade.
Originally, the school was started by the members of the Russian-speaking community. And one of the ideas for the school was to help the Russian-speaking community have a kind of like a community school that will allow kids to preserve their heritage.
Preserving heritage is important to the school, and their small class sizes have created a family environment for both students and staff.
It really makes you close with the families. We have a lot of families that come through and they have 3 or 4 kids, and so you get to know them as a family. You get to know them year after year, and you get to know all the siblings, and you get really close with them, and it gives you a better connection with the students.
Around 75% of students speak English as a second language, which originally created some challenges.
We dug ourselves out of a pretty deep hole. About 4 years ago when I started here, we were what was considered a priority school. So that's a school that's been identified by the state as needing help. And we've made progress each year since then to better meet the needs of our students, especially ELL learners.
The school has since overcome those challenges by changing the way they teach.
We have a guided reading program that has been implemented last year. We take kids to the Hennepin Library nearby so to make sure that they get access to the books and can read. We differentiate in different ways. We also provide support, one-on-one, small group support in math.
While the school's come a long way, teachers say the emphasis on Slavic culture helps bridge a divide that's prevalent in today's political climate.
There are major divisions right now. The relationship is probably at its worst point since the Cold War. And our school is very small, but it is building bridges between people speaking different languages, and I think that is a really crucial thing.
In Brooklyn Park, Meredith Hackler, CCX News.
Thank you, Meredith. Still ahead, an exciting surprise in Brooklyn Center today for a wounded veteran. But first, we'll hear from a local girls swimming and diving team making a splash toward a second straight conference championship. John Jacobson is in next.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. The Armstrong girls swimming and diving team figures to be a contender in the Northwest Suburban Conference this season. Jay Wilcox has more on the Falcons.
One thing changes for the Armstrong girls swimming team. They have a new head coach this fall. Former assistant John Wood steps into the top spot.
I think we all loved him before, but now he's just in a higher role and we can really get excited about his coaching because it's definitely different from every coach is definitely going to coach differently than before. So I think it's just a really good new change for all of us.
A lot of people came in pretty nervous just because John wasn't exactly known to be super easy with his practices or whatever, so a lot of people were nervous for that. But we're trying to get everyone pumped, and I think most of us are there by now.
It's a lot different, it's exciting. Planning workouts, managing all the behind-the-scenes stuff is different. I did it for the boys team, but it's really exciting coming back for the girls. There's a little more pressure that goes along with it, but with that comes a lot of reward.
The early part of the season is spent getting in shape and working on technique.
Yeah, early season stuff is really a time to just start to accumulate yardage, build a little more distance. We do a lot of stroke work, so drill progressions. We really want to take the time now to make sure the girls' strokes are looking good, they're feeling okay in the water before we start to ramp up intensity.
The Falcons have a good core group back from a team that accomplished a first in their present conference last fall. They're eager to do it again.
We definitely want to win conference champs again. It was the craziest feeling winning for the first time in Armstrong girls history, and I just think we want to do that again.
We were so pumped last year because it was actually very uniting as a team to win conference like that because it was completely a team effort. It was not even just only a varsity thing or JV. Everyone did their absolute best. And we were so excited once we won it. So I think we're really pumped going into this season, to do that again because that was such a great experience.
We'll see if another championship season in the pool is in store for Armstrong. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
And the Falcons host Spring Lake Park Wednesday. 3 of Park Center High School's fall head coaches are former Pirate athletes. On this week's Sports Jam show on CCX, we meet them. Here's Jay again.
3 of the fall head coaches at Park Center were Pirates themselves not so long ago. Football coach Jordan Salas and volleyball coach Andrea Emery are first-year head coaches after a decade plus in the assistant ranks. Girls soccer coach Keely Sorensen became the head coach last fall. Being at their old school does make a difference.
It's very special. Something like I said before, I've been waiting since I was about 16 years old. I've been a Pirate through and through, and now I'm, I guess, the top Pirate for the football program. So it means the world to me.
I think, build spirit, build tradition, build pride. All those things are huge when you can bring people back that know what it's like and know what it was like when they were here and share those stories. So that's exciting. We always look for opportunities to get more alumni back in the building, back coaching.
It's fun to even reconnect. I mean, even Keely, the soccer coach, I knew her when she was in 4th grade because I was playing basketball for her mom at Park Center. So we're seeing her and grown up, and then I played with Jordan's sister Jada for volleyball. So just the fact that everyone wants to still be here and stick around just shows that we all have a lot of heart and a lot of love for this school.
You can watch the rest of that story and much more on the season premiere of Sports Jam. It's on each Monday through Wednesday here on CCX. There are big regular season cross-country meets in the Saturdays ahead throughout the state. One local school has both of its varsity teams ranked first in the state. Defending state Class AA boys champion Wayzata is #1 in the Coaches Association rankings this week. The Trojans are followed in the top 5 by Stillwater, Edina, Red Wing, and Eden Prairie. Andrew Brandt is 9th in the individual rankings, along with Eli Haft of Hopkins, who's ranked 10th. The Wayzata girls, who also were state champs last year, are ranked first early in the season. 2 of their runners are ranked in the top 10, Emma Atkinson and Caroline Sasson. Both Wayzata teams are among those running at the Metro Invitational Saturday in Eden Prairie. And that's all for sports. Shannon, back to you.
All right, thanks, John. Today in Local Vote 2018, we continue profiling candidates for Osseo School Board. Today, you'll hear from Mayamon Queeglay and Heidi Clayman.
Hi, my name is Mayamon Queeglay, and I am running for Osseo Area School Board. I am currently working as a multicultural liaison and have strong knowledge in the public health field regarding disparities and issues affecting communities. I grew up in District 279 and graduated from Osseo Senior High. As a first-generation librarian, I understand the importance of serving and empowering social, racial, and identity development. I cannot ignore the biggest problem in the district, which is the huge divide and the achievement gap. I'm running to bridge that gap and help provide equity for all students. We all need to remember that each and every child in this district are our children. This includes my 3 boys, who are or will be students in the district. I am a mom that wants the best education for her boys and all children in our community. Please visit my Facebook page, Vote Mayamon for ISD 279 School Board.
Hello, I'm Heidi Clayman, and I'm running for the Osseo Area School Board. I'm a registered nurse and enjoy my job at a busy, culturally diverse hospital. I'm married with 2 children who are growing up in our schools. I have been an active volunteer in the school district, and I'm ready to do more. I will work hard on behalf of all students, staff, and families. I will ensure our district provides equitable education opportunities for every learner and push hard to close the achievement gap. I will seek to make our schools safe and accessible for each student. Our students and families should believe that all are welcome. I believe we do have strong schools, and I know we can do better. Follow me on Facebook, read more on my website, and vote for me on November 6th. Thank you.
Up next, a big surprise for a veteran in Brooklyn Center. And finally, he was wounded in combat and medically retired from the Army. On Tuesday, he got a big surprise. That is Tori Saylor getting the keys to his brand new car. Luther Mazda and Wells Fargo donated it to the Military Warrior Support Foundation, a group that gives cars and houses to wounded veterans. Saylor signed up for a chance to win the car at the state fair, and when he found out he won,
I was extremely excited. You know, words really can't describe kind of the emotions that we're going through. Excited, humbled, you know, it was incredible.
Tori just graduated from law school and he is getting ready to start a family. He says there's no way he'd have been driving a new car without that program. So congratulations, Tori. We'll see you tomorrow.